At least 20 people have been killed in eastern Afghanistan in an airstrike carried out by government and US forces. Earlier, at least 18 people were killed and 96 injured in a Taliban suicide attack near a hospital in the southern Zabul province. A Defense Ministry official says the intended target was a nearby training base for Afghanistan's National Intelligence Agency. Well, Rob McBride joins us live now from the Afghan capital, Kabul. Rob, so yet another attack which has been claimed by the Taliban, plus now we have this airstrike. Tell us what's been happening.
That's right, Darren. This is a depressingly familiar story. It was early Thursday morning that this attack happened in the provincial capital of Kalat. Pictures reaching us here in Kabul show that a large section of the centre of the city has been completely flattened by this truck bomb that has been claimed by the Taliban. They say that they were targeting the local headquarters of the NDS. This is the Afghan Intelligence Agency. The bomb was detonated at an outside wall, but right next to this headquarters was also a provincial hospital. So we know that a number of civilians, women and children have been among the dead and injured. We have the latest casualty figures of 18 dead and 96 injured. So we can expect, sadly, the number of fatalities to rise as we go through the coming hours. The Taliban say that those targeted were soldiers and also government agents, as they often say, but it does seem as though there has been, again, once more civilians caught up in this attack. And we are getting now details of another incident. This is in Nangarhar province, the province that borders with Pakistan, that happened Wednesday evening. And we have competing versions of exactly what happened. The provincial governor's office said that this was an airstrike, a coalition airstrike, in specifically a drone strike against a local Islamic State hideout. This is an area close to the Tora Bora region, which is a stronghold of various groups of fighters. They say that 20 ISIL fighters were killed. Now, this is being contested by a provincial council member and also now by several local government sources who say that the people were killed were actually civilians. They say that 30 civilians have been killed and 40 injured. And they say that these were people who were actually harvesting pine nuts in the area. Now, it is people from surrounding neighboring provinces do travel to the province of Nangarhar at this time of year to collect and harvest and work in these fields. It does seem as though it was close to this hideout. So the truth, actually, which will probably emerge in the coming hours, is probably somewhere between the two. An ISIL hideout was targeted. Some ISIL fighters may well have been killed, but it does seem that a number of civilians have also been killed in this attack, Darren.
And Rob, how is this escalation in violence likely to impact on the presidential election, which, as we know, is just 9 days away?
Well, the government here is determined that these elections will still go ahead. The Taliban is determined that they will still try as best they can through violence and whatever other means to disrupt them. Only yesterday, Wednesday, they issued another long statement denouncing this as the work of the invaders, as they call the foreign powers here, and also their puppets, by which they mean the local Afghan government. They have said, though, that they are still open to dialogue, and we know that they have been continuing their lobbying mission that has just been completed to Moscow and also Tehran to put forward their version. They say they're open to talks, but of course, as far as the Taliban are concerned, acts of violence against these elections and still trying to follow up on dialogue are completely compatible. They accuse the Americans of being the ones that have pulled out of this agreement at the last minute on, it seems, a whim and a tweet. Meanwhile, from the US side, there are developments. We know that the Zalmil Khalilzad, the special envoy for Afghan affairs, has been subpoenaed to give evidence before the US Congressional Committee on Foreign Affairs in Washington later today to try to get to the bottom of just where these failed peace negotiations are up to. As far as the government here and the local situation is concerned, these elections are still going to go ahead. The government says it doesn't want to talk about any peace agreements until this election has taken place, and we shall see what the coming week brings. Darren?
All right, Rob McBride there in Kabul. Rob, thank you.